Have you ever watched a movie where the hero seems to escape death over and over again? They face impossible odds, yet somehow they come out alive, stronger, and ready for the next challenge. Help always seems to arrive just in time, right? Well, guess what? You are the hero in your movie. And just like those heroes, you have someone constantly watching over you, making sure you make it through every challenge life throws your way. Welcome to Faith-Filled Wednesday. Hang out with me as we dive into this powerful truth. In every movie, the hero faces impossible situations, whether it's life-threatening, danger, betrayal, or overwhelming odds. But the story isn't over until the hero wins, right? It's always the case. In our lives, it's the same. Many times we faced what felt like the end, moments where we thought we couldn't go on. Yet, here we are. Why? Because God is writing our story. Psalm 91, verse 11 reminds us, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guide you in all your ways." God's protection surrounds us even when we don't see it. You're still standing because God has been fighting for you, just like a hero never fights alone. In reality, we often think that kind of miraculous rescue only happens in movies. But let me tell you something. If our lives could be played back like a movie, we'll be stunned by how many times God has rescued us without us even realizing it. Like me, I bet you've seen many viral surveillance videos on the internet catching people who had a close shave with death, whether it's someone narrowly avoiding a speeding car, an object falling inches away from them, or a sudden change in circumstances that spares them from disaster. While the world may call it luck or coincidence, as believers, we recognize it as a divine protection. Think of Daniel in the lion's den, or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. God shielded them in ways beyond human explanation. Even today, we experience his divine intervention. Maybe you were delayed unexpectedly, only to realize you avoided an accident. That has happened to me more than a couple of times. Or perhaps an illness that was caught just in time. These moments remind us that God is always at work behind the scenes. Psalm 18:16 says, "He sent from on high, he took me, he drew me out of many waters." There have been countless moments where death, danger, or destruction were right there, but God stepped in. I'm sure you have those moments too. Think about it. That near car accident you avoided, that sickness you recovered from, or the peace you felt in the middle of chaos, those weren't coincidences. That was God, your helper, stepping in at just the right time. I remember an experience from my childhood in Nigeria when I was about 10 years old. My dad had a choir meeting at church, and we all went with him, my two sisters, my younger brother, and me. My immediate younger sister wasn't with us because she had chickenpox, so my mom had her stay with my grandma to prevent us from catching it. On our way back from church, my dad was driving while we were chatting, unaware of what was happening. Suddenly, I heard my dad mention that the car was acting strange. Before we knew it, the car started swerving from side to side on the highway. Then it skidded and crashed into the highway railings. Panic set in as we screamed, completely helpless. Moments later, the car flipped over and began spinning in the middle of the highway. Thankfully, since it was a Sunday evening, there were no oncoming vehicles. It spun from what felt like forever before finally coming to a stop near the railings. The next thing I heard was my dad calling out our names to check if we were okay, even as the car remained upside down. Before I could process what had happened, our little brother, who was only about 3 years old at the time, somehow managed to squeeze out of the car and stood by the railings of the bridge. One by one, we followed his lead and crawled out. Within moments, passing cars stopped, people rushed over, and my dad was helped out. Miraculously, we all emerged from the accident completely unscratched. Just as we got out, the car caught fire. I truly believe angels were with us that day, guiding us to safety and using our little brother to lead the way. All glory to God. If only God could open our spiritual eyes to see how close we sometimes are to dangerous situations before He rescues us, we'll be amazed. 2 Kings 6:16-17 gives us an incredible example of this. Elisha's servants were terrified when their city was surrounded by an army, but Elisha prayed, "Open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see." And what happened? The servants' eyes were opened to see that the hills were filled with horses and chariots of fire. That was God's army protecting them. We are never alone. God's divine protection is always surrounding us, even when we can't see it. I can boldly say I am the hero in my movie. No matter how difficult life gets, I know that God is always there, pulling me out of deep waters and delivering me from impossible situations. Psalm 34:19 says, "The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all." Every great hero has to go through challenges to reach victory. And just like in the movies, you are not alone. Help is always on the way. Isaiah 41:10 reminds us, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." No matter what you're going through today, trust that God is working behind the scenes. Your story isn't over. The best is yet to come. So, my friend, if this message encouraged you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please do leave a comment below about a time when you saw God's hand at work in your life. Let's keep inspiring and strengthening each other. Until next time, stay blessed. Bye.